Where do most Australians want to live? I'll tell you in a moment. Hello and welcome to Clearance Rate, a full wrap of the nation's residential property market over the last week. And it seems Victoria is the most popular location for house hunters, with 9 of the top 10 most searched suburbs on realestate.com.au in the Garden State. In terms of Melbourne's clearance rate, what did we see at the weekend? New South Wales real estate editor Tim McIntyre.
Well, we saw Melbourne actually overtake Sydney as far as auction clearances go, and this is a rare event of the last couple of years, but Melbourne was up there with 74% there, and just getting over Sydney was 72.8. Adelaide also at 74.
No real surprise given that we did see, of course, a lull the week before.
Yeah, I mean, it was a case of auctions slowing down in a couple of the cities, but those clearance rates are still really strong.
Absolutely. Well, in terms of the latest realestate.com.au top sellers markets report, Prahran, Fitzroy North and South Yarra are the most popular suburbs for houses. The hottest spot for house hunters in Queensland turns out to be Newmarket in suburban North Brisbane. Tim, what are we seeing on the private treaty front this week?
Well, still plenty of action as per usual. Still more than 3,000 sales, and Melbourne now the biggest private treaty market, overtaking Sydney there, but not coming within cooey of Sydney's $905,000 median price for sales.
Yeah, it's that price thing. Well, according to the numbers, New South Wales dominates the apartment hit list for most searched suburbs, with 7 out of 10. Wollstonecraft, Penrith and Miranda the top 3. Tim, still hot demand out there for apartments and volumes.
Absolutely. Apartments very much sought after, especially because a lot of people can't afford to get into the house market at the moment. So, 1,757 in Sydney, and between it and Melbourne, we've had 3,000 apartment sales for the week. The other market's pretty slow. I'm actually surprised there's not more people buying into Perth apartments right now, because you can get them for at or below value and will be good equity in years to come.
Yeah, some studies showing obviously a bit of a drop off in terms of population growth, putting some strain on the house price, i.e. if you're a seller, you're going to probably get less than what you paid for it a few years ago.
Well, that's right, and if you ask any astute investor, they'll tell you that means now is a pretty good time to buy, and it will get that way for the next year or two, and then you'll be happy you did.
Always two sides of the coin. Well, not surprisingly, while trending postcodes and coffee shops are all nice, home buyers rate far more basic things as must-haves when picking the suburb they want to live in. Not surprisingly, the thing that influences home buyers the most when it comes to buying in a particular suburb is price. Tim, what are we seeing in terms of overall price direction this week?
Well, things have been a bit slow and steady lately, and it's sort of continuing on now. We're not seeing the big weekly price jumps we were seeing a year ago, but Brisbane coming back, Adelaide bouncing up as well. Still a long way to go for those guys. Perth on the way down. Melbourne sort of flattening out, and Sydney just maintaining a slower level of growth than it has been, but still pretty solid.
Well, time now for our weekly Sticky Beak, and what have you got for us? There was a $6 million one in Chatswood. I couldn't believe my eyes.
Well, that's what I've got for you.
Hooray! I wanted to talk about this. Check this out. Brick home, quite large. Quite large,
yeah. 6.05 million. So it had beaten the previous street record for this place for this street in Chatswood, Chatswood Ave, was 4 million. So it's beaten it by a couple of mil.
And look, it's nothing outstanding. It could be anywhere. What size was the land?
The land block was 870 odd square metres, which is big for the area, but it's not so big that you'd have developers lining up for it or anything like that.
No, I mean there's a lot of apartments already in Chatswood. Maybe that's what does make, of course, the house price much higher.
Well, it's just that supply and demand, and with that house, especially, the owner had built it himself back in 1998, and was looking at selling it for 5.6 million reserve, which the agent thought was too high, but they beat that by $450,000 as well.
Nice tidy profit there with that one. Well, that is Clearance Rate for today. More again next week.